What's up guys, welcome to another episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Trivia. This week we're doing another archetype and we're doing the Gusto archetype. So, the Gustos, also known as Gusta in the OCG, are a wind attribute-based dual terminal archetype. They were released in dual terminal Raid of the Inverse. Their name Gusto is based on the word gust, as a reference to their wind attribute. As well, their team symbol is a circle with a silver whirlwind inside of it, which furthers the connection. The synchro monsters of the archetype appear to be combined forms of two monsters that appear in the artworks. Further proof is that their levels are the sum of those two monsters as well. Those synchro monsters, as well as the Xyz monsters, also have DAIGUSTO in their names. The archetype consists of a variety of types of monsters, including winged beasts, psychic, thunder, rock, and pyro. So a Gusto deck's main strategy is almost entirely based on defense, as well as loading the graveyard, since most support for the Gusto archetype required shuffling at least 2 or more Gusto monsters into the deck. The deck relies heavily on defensive tactics, beginning with its trio of searchers known as the Recruiter Loop. The monsters included are Winder, Priestess of Gusto, Gusto Guldo, and Gusto Eagle. These 3 cards can continuously search one another out of the deck when destroyed in battle, while simultaneously filling the graveyard with monsters, which can be utilized later with effects such as Calm, Serenity of Gusto, Pilica, Descendant of Gusto, and their synchro monsters as well. Overall, Gusto decks are naturally passive, having a resilient defense strategy and a great recycling and draw power. With the right build, however, they can surprise an unwary opponent with little effort, especially against high attack, aggressive type OTK based decks. And the footage you've been seeing is from my 25 days of Deckmas, which I actually played with the Gustos and was pleasantly surprised they were interesting to play as. Why don't you check it out here? So, what was their dual terminal story? Well, they were a tribe that lived with the wind and worshipped the bountiful land they lived on since ancient times. Against the various outside enemies, they linked their hearts together with and battle along animals that live around in order to protect their land through the generations. However, the Steel Swarm started to take over the surface land, so the Gustos united with the other clans to create a temporary union led by the Vylons. They obtained new powers to fight back the Steel Swarm. Soon, the Union finally defeated the invaders, but conflicts haven't lowered yet. The Vylons decided to stop the wars between the clans by exterminating them completely. Later, the Gustos teamed up once again with the other clans in order to cease the Vylons' actions. After stopping the Vylons, the union between the tribes disbanded. At the time, Gusto tribes were in danger of being attacked by the Gishkis. Fortunately, the Gem Knights foresaw this and they lent their powers to protect the Gusto tribes from the danger. After the E-Swarms appeared and threatened to destroy the world, the Gustos decided to join forces with the Gem Knights and the Constellas to stop the E-Swarms for good. After the war against the E-Swarms and Sophia has ended, it is known that only survivors of the tribe from the war are Kamui and Reese. Shortly after, those two formed a family and Pilica was born. It is unknown what happened to Reese at this point, but Kamui, along with Pilica, eventually created a new tribe, giving birth to a new generation. So then, let's go on to the monsters then, shall we? First up, Calm, Serenity of Gusto. Fittingly, this card's name, Calm, is a play on the word calm, which means serenity. This monster's appearance is similar to that of Storming Winds. This monster appears in the artwork of Poisonous Winds, Blessing of Gusto, and After the Storm. Some players claim this card is a short printed card in Hidden Arsenal 5's Steel Swarm Invasion set, due to the difficulties in obtaining it. This card has Scrap, Ice Barrier, and Naturia counterparts, which are Scrap Recycler, Caravan of the Ice Barrier, and Naturia Maron. Gusto CONDOR. This is the first Gusto not to be in the dual terminal. This is the first Gusto monster to be released in the TCG, and to be legal for tournament play. Gusto CONDOR has a similar artwork and name with Mist Condor. This card and Gusto Griffin are the only Winged Beast type Gusto monsters that are not Tuna monsters. Gusto Eagle. Now this monster resembles a juvenile bald eagle. Gusto Falco. This card appears in the artwork of Kamui, Hope of Gusto, as his familiar. An evolved form of Gusto Falco also appears in the artwork of DAIGUSTO FALCOS, written by Kamui. This card has a dark counterpart in the form of Shadal Falco. According to the Monster Guide 4, Gusto Falco died protecting Kamui in battle. As a token to his fallen friend, Kamui later carved the image of Falco in his staff and gave it to his daughter, Pilica, descendant of Gusto. This monster also appears in the artwork of Ritual Beast's Promised Return. Gusto Griffin. This card is based on the mythological tale of the beast, which is part lion and part eagle the griffin. This card slightly resembles Gallus the Star Beast. Both are griffins, or, well, griffin-like. Both are wearing armor with symbols on the chest, and both have 800 attack, and their poses are similar. Gusto Guldo. This card appears in Winda, Priestess of Gusto, and Whirlwind of Gusto as Winda's familiar, compared to the Wind Charmer and her familiar Petite Dragon. Gusto Squirrow. Gusto Funbolt. This card and Gusto Squirrow are the only Gusto monsters that are not Winged Beast or Psychic type monsters. Kamui, Hope of Gusto. This is the one and only Gusto flip effect monster ever released. It is also the only Psychic type flip effect monster so far. This card's effect is exactly the same as Winda, Priestess of Gusto, albeit with a different trigger effect activation requirement. Both of them also have the same level, attribute, and type. This monster appears in the artwork of DAIGUSTO FALCOS. This monster is the younger version of Ritual Beast Tamer, Elder. This is supported by them having the same stats, attack, defense level, attribute, and type, barring this monster being a flip effect monster. Musto, Oracle of Gusto. Pilica, Descendant of Gusto. So this card's Japanese name, Pirika, in Ainu language means good or beautiful. This explains about this card's eventual connection with the Ritual Beast Tamers, the Gusto archetype successors, since most of the Ritual Beast monsters' names are based on Ainu language themselves. This card has the opposing counterpart in terms of etymology, Ritual Beast Tamer Wen. This card's attack and defense stats are the reverse stats of Wen. This monster is the daughter of Kamui, Hope of Gusto, and Reese, Whirlwind of Gusto. She's also one of the two odd-level non-synchro psychic type Gusto monsters, being level 3, while Reese is level 5. Her hair colour is similar to that of Reese as well. Her effect is seemingly designed intentionally to make synchro summoning DAIGUSTO's freeze easier, which supports this theory further. This monster's staff is the same as the one previously owned by Kamui, however it has the Gusto Falco on the top of it. Currently this card is the only non-synchro psychic type Gusto monster with no male counterpart. This monster has a Zephyra Ritual Beast Tamer counterpart, Ritual Beast Tamer, Zephram Pilica. Both Pilica and Rampengu can be seen in its artwork. This monster appears in the artwork of El Shaddai Fusion, Ritual Beast Ambush, Zephyra Path, and Ritual Beast's Promised Return. Pilica's hairband is a seashell, representing her friendship with Gishki Emilia, who also has a seashell in her artwork. According to the Master Guide 4, Pilica's hairband was given to her by her best friend from the Gishki. It can be seen as a symbol of the peace between the Gusko and Gishki, who had fiercely battled each other in the past. The same shell is still present in Emilia's adult form, Dance Princess of the Necros. Reese, Whirlwind of Gusto. This card appears in the artwork of After the Storm. This card has an evolved form, DAIGUSTO's Freeze, and this is the form she takes after teaming up with the Violon Sphere. The difference between this card and Freeze is that this card's effect has more emphasis on manipulating control between monsters, whilst Freeze emphasizes manipulating battle damage. Freeze is effectively Reese without her hair tied, wearing a styled armor and having red eyes like most Gusto birds and mounts. Winda, Priestess of Gusto. According to the Dual Terminal Master Guide, this monster is the older sister of Win the Wind Charmer, hence their resemblance and the similar outfits of Windar, Sage of Gusto, who is their father. This monster has a yellow stuffed rabbit in her coat, while Win has a pink stuffed rabbit in her coat. The monster appears in the artworks of Whirlwind of Gusto, Contact with Gusto, DAIGUSTO GULLDOS, Shrine of Mist Valley, and a younger version of it in After the Storm. And this card's puppet form, or her reanimated corpse, is depicted in the artwork of El Shaddai Winda, El Shaddai Fusion, and Nefe Shaddai Fusion. Spiritual Beast Tamer Winda is an older version of this card. Windar, Sage of Gusto. This monster appears in the artwork of DAIGUSTO Eagles and Dust Storm of Gusto. The staff in this card's artwork is similar to the one Win is holding, and this card has the highest attack and level of all non-synchro type Gusto monsters. Moving on to the synchros and Xyzes, DAIGUSTO Eagles. Windar, Sage of Gusto, is shown riding a more mature version of Gusto Eagle in this card's artwork. The effect of this card is a mirror version of DAIGUSTO GULLDOS' effect, destroying face-down cards instead of face-up ones. DAIGUSTO EMERAL. This card's name and type suggest that it was formed from a level 4 Gusto monster and a Gem Knight Emerald, suggesting an alliance between the Gem Knights and the Gusto archetypes. This is reflected in this card's effect and how they work well with their respective archetypes. This card's attack and defense are equal to that of Gem Knight Emerald. The other Xyz material used to form this monster could possibly be Calm Serenity of Gusto due to their similar effects. And this card is the first and one of the few Wind Rock type monsters. This card's effect may be a parallel to that of LAVALVAL Chain. This card focuses on searching the graveyard, while LAVALVAL Chain focuses on searching through the deck. This monster resembles Kamen Rider Ryuki Survive Mode, with its helmet and chest armor, and this monster appears in the artwork of Overlay Regan, Overlay Zero Buster, and Xyz Discharge. DAIGUSTO FALCOS. Kamui Hope of Gusto appears in this card's artwork, riding a larger version of Gusto Falco. Also, their levels match this card's level. This card has an EVILSWARM counterpart known as EVILSWARM HRAESVELG. Something like that. DAIGUSTO GULLDOS. Winder, Priestess of Gusto, appears in this card's artwork, riding a larger version of Gusto GULLDOS. Consequently, those two monsters can be tuned to synchro summon this card. And this monster has a Shadol counterpart, El Shadol Winder. DAIGUSTO Phoenix. This card is the first Wind Pyro type monster. This card is the first Pyro type Xyz monster. It is also the first Gusto Xyz monster, as well as the first Gusto Pyro type monster. Woofed. This card seems to be the result of a combination between the Gustos and Lavals, similar to Ivaganishki Merogeist. This monster bears an uncanny resemblance to Speedbird. Coincidentally, Speedbird can be used to bring out level 2 monsters to Xyz summon this card. This card was seen with an unknown duelist in episode 31, DAIGUSTO Freeze. This card is an upgraded form of Rhee's Whirlwind of Gusto. Interestingly, this monster has the same attack and defense total as Rhee's, but her attack is 100 points higher, while her defense is 100 points lower. This card appears to have been synchro summoned using Vylon Sphere and Rhee's Whirlwind of Gusto. This can be supported by the fact that Freeze could be the combination of the word Sphere from Vylon Sphere and Rhee's from Rhee's Whirlwind of Gusto. Also, its Japanese name is DAIGUSTO Sphered, which further supports this theory. This might be an implication that the Gusto archetype and the Vylon archetype have joined forces for their common enemy, the Steel Swarm archetype. Unlike the other Gusto synchro monsters, this card does not ride a giant bird, having a themed armor instead. And with that, guys, that's another archetype episode done. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments section below. If you want to see some things that are linked to this archetype, then I guess you could go check out the familiar Possessed Charmer archetype, because that has something to do with Win the Wind Charmer being like family to some of the Gustos and stuff. Other than that, don't forget to leave a like on the video, guys, to me what you thought in the comment section below, and thanks a lot for watching.